Hi everyone, this is Terry Maffitt. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some tips with you about Photo Stitch 1. Photo Stitch 1 is a wizard that's located in PE Design 11 software and also Palette 11 software. You'll notice from the Home tab, if you move over to the Image tab, you have some stitch wizards. We're going to be focusing on Photo Stitch 1. Now this will be a fairly fast-paced video, but if you want to go back and refer to it and to my blog, you can. I also have much more detail located on my YouTube channel. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment and thank my sponsor, More Sewing Center. More Sewing Center is located in Southern California. You'll notice they have multiple locations. You'll also notice that they have an online shopping presence as well. Make sure you reach out to More for all your sewing needs. Now let me show you my YouTube channel. You'll notice on my YouTube channel that I have playlists. One of those playlists is PE Design 11. If you go into that full playlist, there are about 99 videos to help you with your PE Design 11 or Palette 11 software. And some of those videos are related to Photo Stitch. So you'll notice there's a 20-minute video here that is lesson 1, and you'll also find lesson 2 as well. So make sure you check those out for the full details. Now let's get started. So we'll select Photo Stitch. When you click on the arrow, you'll notice that you have the option of having color, sepia, gray, or monotone. So you can take a photograph or an image and you can convert it to one of those types of color themes. I'm going to choose color. Now what I'm going to do is open up an image file. This is a photo that I took of my puppy, Piper. Piper is an 8-month-old standard poodle, and she's full of herself. You'll notice that this came in sideways. Don't worry about that. I'm working in this direction because of the size of the image, but I can rotate it before I stitch it out, or I can stitch it out from side to side depending on my hoop setting. What I want to do is to create a mask. And you'll notice I selected the clipping mask here. You can create your own mask. These are some built-in masks. Now you'll notice there are little nodes here, and I'm selecting this node to more or less pull this in so that I can change the clipping mask a little bit. Because one of the things that I like to do whenever I'm stitching out a photo stitch, I like to take a small clip of it, if you will, and stitch that out because these are stitch intensive. And then what I can do is I can make sure I refine my colors. So I'm going to be showing you what the actual results were from my first trial, and I'll tell you some of the things I learned from that. But let's just go on and continue. From this point, if I wanted to, I can tune the image. You'll find out more of that in the lessons that I have on my YouTube channel. We'll go ahead and choose Next. Now you'll notice the image in the background. It will open the image file on your desktop and your software. Here's where I want to go in and make some decisions about what hoop size. I do want to make this small because these files are fairly large, and for my first trial I'm going to try this out in the 4x4 hoop. So I've chosen this hoop. So I can just choose cancel because I had already selected it. I'm also going to choose fit to page. The reason I want to do that is I need to have it fit within my hoop settings. So you see that it's going to focus on this portion of the photograph. Let's go ahead and choose next. Now what you will see is what the actual design will look like. You can select from your thread brand. I've chosen Floriani. I managed to pick up 100 thread set from More Sewing, and I need to add more colors, particularly after I went through this session with Photo Stitch, so I will be adding more. But one of the things you can do is you can look at this and determine if you want to add more color, if you want more detail. There are other things that you can do to refine it as well. One of the first things that I want to do, because this is relatively small, I'm going to change the run pitch to 2.5 millimeters. Now let's go ahead and update the preview. You'll notice when you do that it will give you a little more detail, and it's looking fairly good. Let's look at a couple more things. I'm going to go ahead and make a few more changes. So let's go ahead and let's change the detail and move it over towards fine and update the preview. You can look at the image and decide if you like that. I really don't care as much for it, so I'll move it back to the middle and update the preview. Now the next thing I can do is I can add more colors if I like. So if I wanted to add more colors, I can go ahead and increase the number of colors and I'll update the preview. Now you see that gives it a lot more detail, particularly around the tongue. And I like what I'm seeing right now. So I'll go ahead and leave it with this palette of 13 colors and I'll choose Finish. But before I do that, let me talk about a couple of other things. You can add an outline to the mask. So if you wanted to have a satin stitch around this, you could. I decided to leave that off. And the other thing you can do is select from candidates. Now when you select from candidates, these are several images that you can select from. Now I have my design. Now let's go ahead and choose Finish. You'll have to wait a bit while it creates the digitized file, and actually that was fairly quick. Now right now we're viewing these stitches, and this is relatively small and it may not look like much. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this 90 degrees, and then you'll be able to get a better view of it. The other thing you can do is go to your View tab. You can look at it in stitch mode, and you can decide if you want to change some of the colors. Like for instance, if I click off the photo and I go down in this list, I'm looking for the portion that's actually this tie around her neck. It's showing that it's violet. If I want to change it and make it a deeper violet, I can do that. And I can select from the colors in the palette. That's one of the things I like about Floriani, because there are so many colors to choose from. So let's look at this violet blue or this grape jelly. That's probably closer to the color, or this color here that's called Purple Passion. Okay, so now it's changed that color. If I don't like it, all I have to do is choose Undo, and I'm back to the original color that was selected. What I want to do at this point is go ahead and save this file.